And welcome back to Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the Late Night podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a late night podcast. Go there. Wait, it's a website. Go there. Here we are in the midst of, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and ruin the surprise. I watched the late night shows that were on this week. The CBS ones, the Paramount ones were off. Well, the CBS ones were off. Daily Show was still on. So, but I'm not going to cover the Daily Show or Jimmy Kimmel Live because it's SNL 50. It's the week of celebrating SNL. Really is like the last 3 weeks of celebrating SNL. It should have been a whole year of celebrating the 50th anniversary. But I know they have other things to do. And I'll get more into it actually, no. I think this would be the perfect place to get into it. Because the Constitutional is packed now that I'm looking at the stories that I have there. Okay. Here we are. I'm just going to talk about SNL for the entire time. This week was a celebration of the SNL 50th anniversary. If you didn't know that was happening, although I never usually cover what's it called, Weekend Update. Yeah, I just pushed the dog away. You saw me. If you watched the video, you saw that you probably heard the dog walk up, and you saw my right hand very smoothly just push him out of the way. I'm going to be a great father one day when I trick some poor woman into having my children. After she's had all her fun and I'm the last one there. My thing is about SNL and Weekend Update. I'm just going to say SNL as a whole. SNL is a late night show, technically, but I do see it more as a variety show of sorts. Also, it started out as a variety show. I've been saying that for years, and people have been like, no, it's not a variety show. It's a sketch show. No, in the 70s, they used to have like the comedians come on and do spots. They also had music. They also had sketches. They had magicians. They had Penn and Teller. They had the Muppets. They had Pee Wee Herman. Of course, it's a variety show. And I'm still going to call it a variety show. I still think SNL is a variety show. I think it's more than a sketch show. Because if it was just a sketch show, then it wouldn't be as culturally relevant. How many sketch shows have artists like Taylor Swift play a 10-minute version of her song? Or I just finished watching the music documentary. Let Kanye West, at the time when he was good, when he was a great, interesting person, let him change up how musicians perform. I know I'm referring only to music now, but perform music on stage at SNL, or even at post 9/11. You know, that first show back, have firefighters on stage with the greatest mayor, America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. I believe that's what they call him, America's mayor. Not they as an SNL, but like that's right. Isn't that what America's mayor was? If you press Command T when you're clicked into Notion, it'll bring up the AI or whatever the heck that is. All right, let me cover before I get into all the news articles I read about SNL. This week, Tonight Show and Late Night featured a lot of people who had their hands in on SNL. Oh, Harper Steele, that's who I forgot. She was on Late Night last night. I thought I was forgetting something. I'm not including actors who appeared. I'm including people who worked on SNL, and that's no offense to the actors, but I don't know if you've ever added links to YouTube videos, but it's a pain in the butt, especially if something's hyperlinked. That's the worst part. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk. at the exact same time as me, typing out this Harper Steele thing. So here are the people that appeared on. Oh, and now the Mac wants to have issues with the Logitech devices. Interesting. This is one of those days. Paula Pell, Bill Murray, James Anderson, Emily Spivy, and Harper Steele all appeared on Late Night. And then on tonight's show, Mary Ellen Matthews, who was the photographer for SNL for the past 25 years, I believe she took over the mantle in 2000. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and Seth Meyers popped by for a little bit on the Tonight Show. No people of color. And then you had Tom Hanks and John Hamm. Did I say James Anderson too? Yeah. Rear their heads over on Late Night. They had a lot of great celebrations in these past couple of weeks. I just watched a video on Architecture Digest, I believe, that had Ego Wodum and Heidi Gardner and Chloe Feynman. Oh boy, I almost forgot a lot of people's names. Talk about, or actually just give a tour of the SNL Studio 8H. You know, when I say tour, it wasn't like a comprehensive thing, and truly, it's not. If you've seen the show, you've seen a lot of what the tour is. But it's just nice to see some little behind the scenes facts. They show a little bit of the makeup department and wardrobe and hair. And I'm looking at masks. Something I did learn is that they used to do plasters of their heads, basically making mannequin heads that looked hyper realistic, so that if they needed to make a beard or a wig at the last minute, then they could do it without having to make that person sit there. But now they just do 3D printing, where they just scan the face and they just 3D print a head instead of making them sit through plaster. But it's very cool. SNL's they're doing a lot of stuff for this. I watched the documentary series, which was called, oh God, I have to open up Peacock. I have issues with Peacock. I've got a lot of issues with Peacock, and I paid for a year. It was on sale. Look, can I complain for something that was on sale for $20? Not really, but I'm still going to. So there's the SNL documentary, which was, I'm having trouble finding it, and I don't want to jump. The anniversary special is Sunday. Red carpet, I believe, starts at 7 p.m. Beyond Saturday Night, SNL 50, Beyond Saturday Night. That's what it's called. That was the 4-episode documentary that I feel like they really could have done a lot more of. I enjoyed what was there. The first episode was the episode covering auditions. The second episode was an episode covering the most popular sketch, which is More Cowbell. Third episode was covering the writers, and the fourth episode, which was a decision I would have gone with if I was a producer. But like if I was a producer, I would have gone with the decision if we had 2 more episodes. But it's not an odd choice. But I feel like there were at least 2 other choices they could have gone with before this. They covered the 11th season, which was a year in which Lorne came back after being absent, having been absent. And all 4 episodes are great. They're good to watch. Watch them all. If you like SNL in any way, for any amount of time, I think you should watch it. As I said, I'm going to keep saying the show is still wholly relevant. What was I listening to this morning where they were talking about the relevancy of the show? Oh, maybe I was reading something. I've read so much. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I've read almost every major article talking about like not the history, but like covering things that you didn't know. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. The one that stood out to me the most was the 5 minutes. You know the audition process, which is you get 5 minutes on a stage on the. I think more often than not, in Studio 8H, but sometimes they do auditions outside. There's never any really real rhyme or reason for that. But you get 5 minutes on the stage in Studio 8H, and there's some the head writers in the crowd and producers like Steve Higgins and Lauren Michaels. Everybody's sitting there, and no one laughs, and you're basically just performing to the darkness because you can't see anybody. And it was great to just watch people squirm for an hour and change. More Cowbell was very interesting because it's the shortest one out of the bunch, 49 minutes. But it started with, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 minutes of hyper-produced documentary where they, dressed Will Ferrell up as a younger version of himself, and they did the thing where like, hey, maybe I should do that. Where like his character, his younger version said that, and the older version of himself said it was very strange. The writing one is the one I learned the most about, it's the one I knew the most about. The season 11 is one I had learned the most about because, quite frankly, I don't watch a lot of early SNL. I do watch a lot of SNL. I think from the 90s onward is the best. I got the 70s and 80s SNL is just kind of blah. But anyway, the writers, you learn about the writers and the writing process and all that stuff. I think about this often. I'm somebody who wakes up in the morning at 4 a.m., 3:50 a.m. to go work out 5 days a week. I think about this. If I was at SNL, I would not be somebody who stays all night on Tuesday night. A, Tuesday's a leg day. But B, I'm not going to do that. I know that's that's the culture, the staying up late, the writing the sketches at 3 a.m. Look, this is what I learned more recently in reading an article on the New York Times talking about the restaurant that they all go to on Tuesday night. On Tuesday nights, SNL doesn't have a lot of set things that they do on a weekly basis, with the exception of two musical breaks and, the sketches and weekend update. And then the Tuesday night writing and all that stuff. But one of the things that they've been doing for decades is going to this restaurant that is right down the street from 30 Rock. It's walkable. It's a nice Italian restaurant, and they all eat together, and they eat with the host, and and that's a chance for the host to open up and tell stories about themselves or talk about themselves, and that's when basically writers are like, oh, well, Jenny Ortega said this. Oh, well, Michael Keaton said this. Did I say Jenny Ortega? Jenna. Is that her name? She was great in Scream. Love those Scream movies. There hasn't been a bad Scream movie. Even the Scream movie I like the least. I like more than most other horror movies. Yeah, I don't want to say that. And then the season 11, the weird year, yeah, you learn about Damon Wayans and Nora Dunn and John Lovitz. It was just great. It's great, excellent. I say John Lovitz. What else is going on? They also have the 50 years of SNL music documentary. Now, I put off watching this until I think today's Friday, until this past Wednesday. Because I just couldn't get to a 2-hour documentary, just quite frankly. I did not have the time. I put it on, first of all. It was edited for television, unfortunately, which means that there's breaks inserted. And on Peacock, if you have the ad-supported version, like as I do, then baby, that 2 hours turns into 2.5 hours. And I have no problem with watching an ad-supported streaming service, but damn, when I turned on that doc and I saw like 20 little dots, oh my goodness. Anyway, if you don't watch this documentary, go online to the very least and watch the the 8-minute. It's crazy. There's an 8-minute intro sequence that uncovers or has it was about to play that has every I can't even say it. It's just a lot of musical performances mixed together in a way that only musicians can mix. And apparently it took a year, but directors Oz Rodriguez and Questlove, who was doing the rounds this past week, on top of this is why Paul Shaffer and the World's Most Dangerous Band sat in for the Roots on Tonight Show. I don't know if I mentioned that. And also Letterman stopped by. But the Roots are going to be the house band for the SNL 50th. And also Questlove is promoting the SNL documentary, SNL, and the Sly and the Family Stone documentary that also, I believe, released this week. At least I saw it on Hulu and Disney Plus. But there's an 8-minute sequence at the beginning of the SNL 50 years of music documentary that, I mean, you name the big band and maybe even like mid-sized group, and they've mixed the vocals and the verses and everything to match other. I just can't even explain it. It's amazing. Go check it out. I enjoyed every single second of that documentary. And it made me think, I just want to buy it. I want to just buy it. I want to buy it and watch it again and again. Because I love music documentaries like that. And I'm excited for the Sly and the Family Stone one. Although I am ashamed I have not seen The Summer of Soul yet. I know, Oscar nominated, Oscar winning, I think. I still haven't seen it. Okay, SNL 50 doc. And then their music doc. Tonight is the Homecoming concert, which I'm very excited about. This is so stupid. True or false? And I'll tell you it's true ahead of time. I have a last-minute interview with someone in television who's on the West Coast. And 4 p.m. their time, they'll be available. Not even 4 p.m. Almost 4:30. It's 4:28 is the time I have exactly. Which means it's 7:28. Which means that my lonely Valentine's Day, when I was just going to be watching the SNL the SNL Homecoming concert and watching, what's that movie on Apple TV Plus with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy? I was going to watch that one too at some point today. Besides recording this show and the Constitutionals. Now tonight, when everybody's out on their little dates, or having little galentines and palantines and all that stuff. Palantines? Ooh, what? What's going on? I'm going to be doing this interview, and then I'm going to be watching this SNL doc. Oh, God. Oh, the red carpet does start on Sunday at 7 p.m. I was correct. Why is it in here twice? Also, what else has been going on is that Peacock has an SNL 50 section, which they should have had the entire time. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And you can watch, I believe on their channels page, they already had an SNL Vault section, but now they have an SNL 50 section as well. So if you have Peacock, they have channels that run, unlike Pluto, unlike Paramount Plus, unlike Disney Plus, unlike Hulu, Peacock's channels pull from on demand very often. Like no other streaming service pulls from on demand. Peacock's does, and unfortunately, it could be like 7:15, and on the Law and Order channel, I don't know if there's one, but on the Law and Order channel, it could be 15 minutes into an episode. And then you go, oh, I just want to join in. I just want to put something on. I just want to join in the middle. You click on it. It'll go to the top of the episode in the on-demand section. And then it just plays from that beginning, and it'll play into the next one as if you had clicked that regular episode. I don't like it a lot. I don't like it at all. Anyway, under the SNL 50 section, you can see a bunch of sketches from the past, what looks to be 5 or 6 years. Truly, I'm scrolling through. There's only like a handful of things as you get lower and lower. It looks like it's 50 sketches from the past 50 years, more or less. Yeah, it looks 50 sketches from 50 years. Really? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yep, that's 2020. What up with that at home? Yeah, I remember that one very distinctly. Also, they seem to skip over in every single piece of SNL fodder that I've read, from every article that I've read. They seem to skip over the pandemic. Like even in the music doc, they just kind of, and Lauren really wanted to get back to in person, and the pandemic happened, and that was it. It's crazy. They have sketches from the season 50. They have SNL. They have playlists, and this is something that I really appreciate about Peacock, is that they have playlists. So they have 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s playlists. They have iconic moments, classic SNL celebrity impressions, SNL celebrity Jeopardy, Stefan's recommendations, commercials, Wayne's World game shows, all that stuff. They have the Creating SNL Saturday night videos that you can see on YouTube a lot of the times. They have SNL female focus, so Tina and Amy, Gilda and Jane, Kristen and Maya. That's cool. They have the digital short section, 5 Timers Club, just I guess episodes with people who have hosted 5 times. Celebrate the holidays, and then they have SNL alums on the big screen, SNL alums on the small screen. For all the guff I just gave Peacock, I really do appreciate that there are things like playlists, because how many times have I gone to Disney Plus? I love The Simpsons. I watch The Simpsons every single day. There needs to be a Simpsons section. Just like on Peacock, there needs to be an SNL section. Those like that's your biggest money maker. Well, no, I won't say that. That's your biggest property. So why not celebrate that? And yeah, you can say on Disney Plus, they have the Marvel section. There's a Disney section. There's a Pixar section. There's a ESPN section, Hulu section. And yeah, they have those things. But if I am in control of something as big as The Simpsons or as big as SNL, then I'm making playlists. I love this. They should have an SNL section, period. I want to continue. What if I just want to sit down and watch SNL the 80s? Because that is, my blind spot is the 70s. I've seen a lot of the 80s, but my blind spot is the 70s. So what if I just want to sit down and watch the 70s? What if I was like, I want to relive the 2000s, when I started watching? I remember my very first episode, and I was thinking about this. I'd seen, this is before YouTube, I'd seen a lot of SNL. I'd seen a lot of it, but only in bits and pieces. I'd never seen a full episode. Then, after YouTube, Betty White hosted, I think in like 2011, and I stayed up and watched that episode. That was like that. I'm talking tip to taint. I'm not saying like other times I stayed up and I watched and I would fall asleep in the middle, and then you'd never have a chance to go to see another video, because I remember watching Lonely Island videos online. When YouTube was nascent, when it was just a little baby. But I'm talking, or like watching other videos on like QuickTime videos, or other sketches on QuickTime videos. But I'd never seen a full episode until the Betty White one. And I went, this is what an entire episode looks like. I would see, it's crazy because I would see, I guess now the way people watch it is they pick and choose, but I would see something up until Weekend. I would see an episode up until Weekend Update, or I would see an episode up until the first musical performance and then fall asleep or something like that. Or when I didn't have a car and I was in high school and somebody was driving me around and I'd get dropped off by a friend at home and I'd come home and then I would see after Weekend Update or Weekend Update and after. Now I would never see like a full episode. But SNL's great. It's iconic. I'm in the middle of reading an article covering Lorne Michaels on the New York Times, written by Maureen Dowd, called Live from New York. It's Lorne Michaels. And I know he's a figure that people, they have their problems with. I still think he's a great guy, very smart, and he's got an eye for comedy and everything. I wish there are some things I would still change about it. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have put Elon Musk and Donald Trump in any episodes, but whatever. But this is great. I'm excited for SNL for the concert tonight. I'm excited for the 50th on Sunday. I will be staying up to watch it, and I will be recording it. And I'm glad all these people are able to celebrate. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people, like tonight. It'll be happening. Everybody, imagine this. Everybody's on their Valentine's Day dates. They're all looking at each other saying, I love you. I love you too. Oh, gay, straight, the rest. Everybody's doing that. And then I'm going to be sitting here going, no, did you like doing your show? Okay, I'm going to go watch SNL. Bye. Sitting, just eating ice cream alone. Eating a leftover dinner from last night. Leftover food from last night. It's okay. So, cpluscomedy.com. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can actually see me talking to those various celebrities. I don't do audio only. Unless they request it. and then I do audio only. But it depends on how big they are. Because I'm like, no. We have to do video. I get it. I understand. But come on. You can also watch a video version of the other podcasts, The Constitutionals, Entertainment Business News Show, and LinkedIn Logs, Jobs Podcast, over there on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Subscribe to The Constitutionals and LinkedIn Logs wherever you get your podcasts. I'm talking Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the rest. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky at C Plus Comedy. Be on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.